What's up, everybody? Welcome to Lowdown.
We've got lots of cool things in store this episode, like interviews with a jazz musician, an artist, and another exciting episode of Colin's Craft Corner.
This and tons more coming up on Lowdown.
Welcome back to Lowdown. I'm Josh.
And I'm Jenna.
Jenna, this is episode 3 of Lowdown, which means we're already halfway through the season.
I know, it seems crazy, but hey, time flies when we're having fun.
And we sure have had a lot of fun this season. But the fun isn't going to stop. Lowdown's Jack Stern had a good time recently at a local pottery studio. Let's take a look.
I think clay just fits me as a material. It has the ability to move and fudge and easily be shaped. So I like throwing on the potter's wheel, and then I also like hand building pieces. Well, we've actually been here 27 years. We originally started on the corner of Spicer and Exchange in an area called Spicertown. Now the University Stadium's there. But that was our first studio that we had in 1974. And then that lasted about 8 years, and finally we made the move down to this area here. And over the years we've expanded, and now we have the entire third floor of the building. The type of work that we do is functional and decorative ceramics. That's our personal work. And then we've taken that one step farther, and we also do a lot of commission pieces. So we work with interior designers or homeowners, and we go in and we essentially add decoration to their living spaces. So that could be wall art, that could be sculpture, that could be just about anything that we can make with clay. And then we also supplement that by adding other people's work. Maybe it might be glass work, it might be a piece of steel sculpture, or even an interior steel mirror. So we offer a lot of different services, though even though we're a retail gallery, we sort of broaden that description and offer other services when we're working with customers. Originally, I really had no art background in high school. It wasn't until I got into college, in particular Kent State, that I took a lot of photography courses. And then from that point, after a year in photography, I actually transferred to the University of Akron and continued on with photography, but started taking some clay classes, and that's when sort of the whole bug sort of took. And I just fell in love with the material itself. And then I had met my wife about that same time, and together we established our studio. So I continued on with my BFA there, and then later with my MA in Arts Administration, but I always came back to working in the studio because that's really was my favorite part about doing this. We do have a website, and people can find us on the web. They can either Google us or go to zebramartel.com. We have a Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, all of that. But there's nothing like stopping in the gallery here at Furnace Street and really touching and feeling and seeing the colors of the work. In Akron, I don't see it as one particular art district. It really, the arts really have, in a positive way, encompassed every corner of Akron, and it's great. And I've never seen it such an explosion of people doing art, getting grant money, working on their own, selling their work. It's really an exciting time to be in Akron, and I'm glad I'm at the place that I am now, and have been able to hone my skills and develop our particular line of work, our style of work, and have that available to the public. And it's just, I'm just so impressed with the people in Akron. It's just amazing the amount of talent that is in town.
You know, I always admired the art of pottery, but I was never really good at it. The clay would always just kind of fall apart into my hands.
I know what you mean, trust me. None of my creations in art class ever turned out that well either. You kind of have to be a pretty good artist to pull that off.
I agree, but let's hear from a different type of artist. Last week, our own Rob Ports got an exclusive interview with a local jazz musician.
Hey, that sounds interesting. Let's watch.
We're so excited about the Wilson Quintet. I think you will be too. Why don't you welcome Akron's own as they transcend time and space. Dan Wilson, please come on out here. Yeah. Come home.
Yeah, my name's Dan Wilson, guitar player. I also teach guitar, and I'm currently touring with jazz organist Joey DeFrancesco. Well, my first music education was in the church, and that was, I think, my most complete training. That's where I learned how to play. My dad was like, "Well, we need a guitar player," so I was like, "All right, I don't have any money," so he bought me a guitar, and then I, kind of taught myself how to play. Yeah, so I first got introduced to Brazilian music early 2021 or something like that. This bass player from Cleveland, I was playing some pattern that was all wrong. He was like, "Dude, man, let me see your guitar." And I didn't even know he played the guitar, and he started playing this pattern. He was like, "Dude, whenever you play bossa nova, play it like that." So I was like, "Oh man, wow, all right." So I went and started studying the music, and I was like, "Man, there's a lot to this music. It's a huge song book." I was like, "I want to do my thesis on that." This was years later, and I ended up, I was like, "Man, why don't I think the best way to do this would just be to go to Brazil." So saved up some nickels and dimes, and took a flight down there, stayed with a family friend. Great experience. Like, Brazilian music is not, it swings. Like American jazz, there's the pulse is, yeah, with the ride cymbal, and it's just, it's on that part of the beat. Brazilian music is also, it's not straight. It has it swings a different way. So if you have, those are straight 16th notes. If you try to play that from Brazilian music, you'll sound really square. So Brazilian music swings like this, instead of this. So whenever you play it, so it'll sound a lot differently. Let me say war is not the answer. Joey DeFrancesco. Yeah, he's kind of a big deal. He blows my mind, man. He gave me a call. He's like, "Yeah, all right, so yeah, I want to hire you for the band. I need you for the tour, and we're gonna record an album." I was like, "Huh?" And from then on we've been playing, and I'm gonna be hitting the road. When do I leave October 31st for Europe. We go to Europe for a couple of weeks with Joey. We're going to Poland and Switzerland and Germany.
Thank you all for coming out. Give it up for Phil Anderson on piano.
That was awesome. I could listen to that man play all day.
So Josh and I are going to be over here chilling with some smooth jazz while we take a commercial break.
Welcome back. We know you missed us.
You know what I miss? Thrift shopping. There used to be so many cool places in my old hometown, and I haven't been in ages.
Well, you know the old saying, there's no place like home. But we do have some similar places around here you could try. For example, I recently went to the soft reopening of Salvage Style Boutique in Wadsworth. They specialize in handmade and vintage items.
That sounds amazing. Let's check it out.
Hi, my name is Julien, and I am owner at Salvage Style Boutique on Reimer Road in Wadsworth. We've been open for 3 years, or a little over 3 years. Ever since I was a little girl, I've loved all things vintage and handmade, and it's always was my dream to own my own business. And I happened to be driving down this country road one day and saw this vacant building. And thus the idea of Salvage Style Boutique was born 3 years ago. We specialize in upcycled goods, painted furniture, vintage, and in industrial. And recently I've changed how Salvage Style is going to be run. I am coordinating with 5 other amazing and talented women who are going to bring to the shop their special focus areas of art, jewelry, handmaids, vintage clothing, and just a wide array of gifts and home decor. So Salvage Style will be open on Fridays from 11 to 5 and Saturdays from 9 to 3. Hope you can stop in and see all of the amazing things that will be coming into the shop each and every week. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram. Please like us, follow us, and come check us out in person.
Wow, I already saw like 10 things I want to buy from there.
Yeah, they had a ton of cool stuff. Leslie went with me to help film, and she ended up buying this.
Oh, that's awesome! I love supporting local businesses.
Yeah, the owner was super nice, and the atmosphere was really friendly. Definitely worth a visit.
I shall go soon, but for right now, let's switch gears here a little bit and throw it over to Jack Stern for his music reviews.
Hi everyone, my name is Jack Stern, and here's the latest and greatest when it comes to music. Coming up first is the latest album, 22 a Million, from indie folk darling Bon Iver. Justin Vernon has normally played things pretty straight with this band, but this latest album doesn't shy away from taking a more abstract direction. If you need proof, then take a look at the cover art and the very free-form track titles, such as 715-Creeks, where the E's are Greek symbols. While initially I thought a lot of this kind of stuff was a little frivolous, the music didn't disappoint me at all. This is the most experimental release ever to come from Bon Iver, and builds on Justin Vernon's airy acoustic sound with some darker, more artificial electronic elements. Some experiments pay off and others kind of stagnate. Parts of the record felt a little bit too ambient, and others didn't really have the same emotional depth as some of Bon Iver's older work. However, every part of the record still feels interesting enough, even if it didn't fire on all cylinders the whole time, making this a very solid release at about a 4 out of 5 for me. Mick Jenkins brings us our next new record with his debut album, The Healing Component. This Chicago rapper has so far made music that has a conscious tinge, a good sense of lyricism, and solid production. And all these things brought him success with his Waters mixtape in 2014. However, I don't think that Mick does a very good job of following up this tape, as The Healing Component is mainly weak and pretentious. The Waters was definitive in its nautical production themes, and the lyrics were strong enough to reflect that. The opposite can of course be said for The Healing Component, where Mick tries to wrap some cliche thoughts about love around the concept of him being a really pretentious prophet who is here to educate us all. The result is an overall disappointment with a couple of tracks and instrumentals that managed to be diamonds in the rough. I'm feeling a 2 out of 5 on this album. Next up is Solange Knowles, coming out with a new album called A Seat at the Table. While I haven't really been a big fan of the smattering of other projects Solange has released before, this new record caught me by surprise. The first thing that caught my attention was the impressive list of collaborators brought on for features and production credits on this album. The result is an album that is straightforward, but still strong. The interview interludes and the passionate lyrics give this album a sense of weight whenever it delves into topics about racial injustice. The song Don't Touch My Hair does a good job of showing this part off as Solange sings about what her hair means to her in a racial sense. This album hits most of its marks and is a worthy effort from Solange, coming in at about a 4 out of 5 for me. The last record I want to discuss is Green Day's latest album, Revolution Radio. Green Day has been around for a while and has had many different phases in its career. This latest record is more just a return to basics with not much else being brought to the table. With songs like the title track for the record, you can feel a collective shrug as you and other listeners wonder what Green Day was really trying to accomplish with this record. Billy Joe Armstrong said the song was about a protest he got out of his car to join, but nowhere in the song are we given any interesting details about the protest, because you just get boring platitudes about being rebellious and finding the truth. The basic approach to the rock music on this record ultimately turns out to be more boring than nostalgic. This kind of stuff is why the record falls completely flat with a rating of 1 out of 5. I really don't see this record bringing much relevancy back to Green Day at all. That's a wrap. Tune in next time for more of the latest new music on Lowdown.
Thanks, Jack. You are officially my new source for music reviews.
For sure. We're gonna see some more reviews from Jack another day.
Yeah, Jenna, are you ready to bust a move?
Not quite, but let's go to Leslie Flores at the dance studios and see what they're all about.
I have been teaching dance for approximately 20 years. The studio, McCardle's Dance Studio, has been around for, next year will be our 55th anniversary. So I took it over from my parents 20 years ago. We teach ballet and then point, which is the advanced form of ballet. And then we teach tap, jazz, hip hop, and baton. And then I also have competition teams, which learn tap, ballet, and lyrical dances throughout the year. I think any form of dance, you start out at beginner level. Anybody can learn it. It's all basic steps, and it just depends on if you pick up more quickly, or if it's a little more difficult, if it doesn't come as naturally. Of course, point, which is up on your toes, the more advanced form of ballet, is going to be probably the most difficult to your physical being to learn. Dance, obviously I grew up with it in my blood. Growing up, it was my main activity that I did all through grade school, junior high, high school. To be a teacher and to enrich children's lives, and to watch them grow from being, grade school to high school age, and what incredible people they become, and to think that you had an influence in that is just an awesome thing. But it's not only about being teaching, because a teacher at school, the kids are kind of like, oh, they have to do it. Dancing, the kids want to be here. They're choosing to be here, and it's a fun activity for them, so it's even more fun to teach them, We're on all the social media. It's McCardle's Dance. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook. We also have a website with all of our teacher information, our founder information, what the dance studio has to offer. It's www.mccardlesdance.com.
Josh, I really wish I was a better dancer.
Well, Jenna, if you get those skills up, then maybe you can join Colin and I in that dance-off.
I may have to take a pass on that one.
I'll take that as you're undecided.
You do that, Josh. We'll be right back after the commercial break.
Welcome back, everyone. We are nearing the end of the show.
But no need to be sad. We still have a couple exciting things in store.
Like another rendition of Colin's Craft Corner.
Oh, I can't wait to see this one.
Let's have a look.
Hi, and welcome back to another segment of Colin's Craft Corner. It's fall, and that means I'm going to be carving pumpkins today. I got my pumpkin here, I got my stencil, and I got my knife for the cutting, and let's get started. First, you got to cut off the top of the pumpkin and take the guts out. Okay, the guts is out of my pumpkin right here, and now I'm gonna stencil out the drawing I have on here, and then we're gonna get cutting, so the fun's beginning. Alright, so we have it stenciled out, and now we are going to use a knife to cut it out. So that's the final step, and we'll see how it all turns out in the end. The pumpkin is complete. I have cut the top out, I have pulled the guts out, I have etched in my stencil, and I have cut it out. ZTV is now carved in there. It doesn't look very good, but nobody said I was a craft master. But anyways guys, thanks for watching this time, and hope to see you next time at another segment of Colin's Craft Corner.
Alright, Colin, not bad, not bad.
I've seen better.
Hey, pumpkins are not the easiest medium to work with, okay? Anyways, to wrap up this episode, I recently sat down with local artist and jack of all trades, Nate Peer, to talk about his work.
Hi, my name's Nathan Peer. I've been doing art since freshman year of high school. I started off with the basics of, drawing, taking a couple classes during high school, and kind of found a passion for it. I interned for a master artist in Cleveland. He was a ceramicist. I knew nothing about ceramics to start off with, and eventually grew to love that as well. And that's where I really fell in love with the arts. I went from ceramics to glass. I did a little bit of aerosol with some graffiti work. I've done a whole bunch. I'm pretty much a jack of all trades, master of none. I had a couple friends who were, doing design work for the school, and I kind of jumped in on it and started doing some graphic design work. I went from there and started, getting my graphic design degree from the University of Akron. I've been featured in, I think, 4 art shows. I've been displayed as a centerpiece in those shows. My most recent one was at Kent State. I was the only representative from Akron, and I was the only piece that was picked out of hundreds of pieces. Just recently, I've just been going back to my roots and just designing and going right back into the computer design. Not so much for graphic design, but more as just for myself and just creating posters and doing that whole thing. My favorite thing to do is ceramics. Definitely ceramics. I mean, I get to work with clay, work with my hands the entire time. I get to feel the process as it goes from being clay to a physical object. I mean, I get to see it from each step of the process. One of my favorite pieces is a vase that I made back in freshman year of high school. Completely ceramic vase. I started off with a ceramic vase that I created and molded myself, and then I created each and every single tile on the vase. I also threw on my little specialty. I like to call them sorrow stones. They're basically little skulls that you put on the vase. I also made each piece of glass that I put on this vase. So literally everything about this is me. It's literally everything that I've done to create this vase. Each piece has a different meaning to me. Like, if I'm working in ceramics, it's almost therapeutic. Like, it almost feels like things are just flowing correctly. But I feel like art is the only tangible thing that is creative. Like, I feel like it is one of the most relaxing things, one of the most fulfilling things when you get to sit there and see something that came up in your mind actually physically in front of you. It's a great feeling. I'm looking to either continue on with my graphic design work. I've also thought about starting my own startup studio where instead of just one artist, I would have a group of artists working under the same roof at the same time. That's the way I was taught up in Cleveland, and that's the way I want to run my studio here.
That's great work right there. You think you'd be willing to have a pumpkin carving contest with Colin?
What a nail biter that one will be.
Well, and just like that, half our season's over.
Sad.
But we still have a strong second half coming, you guys, so don't forget to tune in next time.
And don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at ZTV Lowdown.
Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'm Josh Gowdy.
And I'm Jenna Ramalt.
And that's the Lowdown.
This program was produced by ZTV at the University of Akron. To find out how you can make Emmy-winning media, visit the UA School of Communication online. ZTV. Make media. Make a difference.